Hi everyone, welcome to HealingAbusedWomen.com. Today is Saturday, November 20th, 2011, and today we do not have a normal video answering questions about people's relationship problems or healing after being abused, but we do have a video based on why it's important to have domestic violence awareness. Okay, first question is, why did you start your blog? Well, I started my blog for that same reason, to make domestic violence a big awareness, just like breast cancer. I don't know why this awareness is not as big as it should be. I mean, there's 3 women that are being killed every day in America. Just in America, 3 women every day being killed by domestic violence. There's 4.8 million women that are physically assaulted every year just in America. And we still don't make this a big awareness. I mean, come on, people. We gotta educate ourselves on stuff that happens to everyone. I mean, this happens to whether you're poor or rich, you come from Mexico, you come from Chicago, or you come from China or Russia. It doesn't matter where you come from. It will happen to you if you do not know how to identify an abusive relationship. You must know, you must learn the signs of an abusive relationship, how it starts and how it develops into more and more brutal abuse. I mean, there's between 1/4 and 1/2 of all women in the world have been abused by their partner, which means 40 to 70% of female murders victims are killed by their partner. 40 to 70% of this half of people are being killed by their partners worldwide. That's a huge number. And still, this is not a big awareness like breast cancer. Breast cancer is something we do not choose. It happens naturally to us, okay? It comes to us in a natural way. It's not something we can prevent. I mean, we can learn the signs, how to identify that we are having breast cancer, but we can never choose whether we want it or not. And domestic violence is something we can choose, whether we want to put through abuse or we don't want to be put through abuse. And still, women do not learn these signs, and they don't learn how to prevent themselves from being in an abusive relationship. Rapes is a major problem right now in domestic violence in South Africa, accounting for 55,000 reported cases in '06. 55,000, okay? Which means on average there are about 1,500 women who can be expected to be raped on a daily basis. I mean, rapes don't only happen from uh, strangers, it can happen from family members, and still we don't tell people, we don't tell them, we don't ask for help. Why? We must learn to speak up, we must learn to overcome our fears, and we must talk about these things, about these problems that we have in our lives. I mean, imagine if you were raped and now you're 20, it's been 15 years and you've never told anyone. You are probably not living a healthy life right now because it still bothers you. You need to seek that help to be able to live a peaceful life without having to deal with that problem that happened 15 years ago. A healthy life is living in a healthy way without having any problems like of this nature. Only 21% of victims contact an agency for assistance. Like I said, not many women ask for help. They are afraid. Why are you afraid? I mean, all that you can get is help. Help. People will protect you. Women shelters, authorities, they will protect you from these abusive men. Okay? There's no reason why you shouldn't ask for help. And honestly, domestic violence happens in so many ways. I mean, sexual assault, it doesn't necessarily have to come from rape, but also there's a lot of people that are infected with HIV or have AIDS, and stuff like this, and they get into a relationship without telling their partner that they are infected with this virus, and then they have unprotected sex. They pass it on to them, and they hurt them for the rest of their lives. People go into relationships without knowing their partners, without knowing the consequences, and then at the end of the day, they're crying like big babies, okay? Why do we choose to cry instead of educating ourselves? I mean, look at it this way. People go to school every single day. College students, they spend a lot of money every semester to learn about history, math, whatever it is you're interested in. But there's so many free information online, so many free blogs like mine who offer free information about how to prevent an abusive relationship. We need to be aware of these things. We need to educate at least 15 minutes a day. Uh, we need to educate ourselves about this because it's something that it will affect you in the long term. If you are abused, like very badly abused, probably sometimes you can go into some stage in which you will not be able to recover. And you do not want your life to end just because you weren't able to teach yourself at least a little bit about how a relationship really works, about the difference between healthy and abusive relationships. I think it's very important we educate ourselves in this and we make domestic violence a big awareness. Next question is, why is it so important for you to educate women on domestic violence? Because of these statistics. I don't want them to keep growing. I want to be that person that starts a big awareness on domestic violence. Just like with breast cancer, there's millions of things happening every single day that support the breast cancer awareness. But do we see millions of things happening every day that support domestic violence? No, we don't. We don't, and that's what we need. Okay? That's what we really need is to help women, especially very young women, understand how a relationship works. The many types of mean, bad men there are out there. We need to educate ourselves on this. It's very important that we raise that awareness to a very big, high level, just like breast cancer, to the point in which the whole world knows about it. The whole world knows how to prevent domestic violence, how to prevent an abusive relationship. Next question is, what is the purpose of selling the shirts you have on your page? My purpose is, like I said, to raise domestic violence awareness. I mean, there's so many products out there for breast cancer awareness. There's the pink bracelet, there's keychains, all kinds of stuff. And my shirts, what they do is 15% of that money goes to a woman's shelter here in Colorado. The rest of the money goes to either paint or the shirts itself. None of that money is coming to me, okay? That money is just to raise awareness for domestic violence and help a lot of victims here in the Colorado area with domestic violence problems. That's my main goal for those shirts. Like I said, that money's not going to me. Next question is, do you believe one day you can change how the world looks at domestic violence? I really truly believe that if every single person who has been through domestic violence can actually speak their story to whether they know a friend or a friend of a friend or a family member who are going through an abusive relationship, if they can tell them that there is help, if they can tell them their story, they can motivate them to get out, to want to get out of the abusive relationship, to want to start healing from the abuse they were put through, to stop domestic violence. I think that if we can all, every single person who has been abused, if we can all share our stories, it can make a very big impact to the people who are in abusive relationships right now and to those who don't know about domestic violence. We can still educate them. There's so many people that don't, they don't learn from other people's mistakes. Like let's say that I have a cousin that's going through domestic violence. I try to talk to her about my relationship and my abusive past. And still, she doesn't care about learning. People want to experience the problem, I guess, instead of learning from other people's mistakes. And I think that's the better way to educate about domestic violence is by teaching other people what we went through. Teaching them that what we went through is not okay at all. And that there is help. Whether, you are rich or poor, there is help out there for you. So, this is mostly why I made this blog, guys, is to raise domestic violence awareness to a big level like breast cancer. I made these shirts so you can take them out, wear them to the grocery store, wear them out. I wear mine almost every single time I go to the store. Why? I'm trying to teach people about this big problem that happens worldwide. And it not only happens to women, it also happens to men. Even though men cases are not as many, or they're not as popular as woman cases, but it does happen to men. And there are a couple of very good blogs. One that I know for men in need of help of abusive relationships is called shrinkformen.com, and I will post the link to it. That way, if you are a man watching, a guy watching this video, you can go to this website and get help. But I only focus on women because, I mean, it's a bigger issue for women to have to go through abusive relationships. Okay? Well, I hope you guys liked today's video, and pass this video on, educate other women about domestic violence. Educate, educate, educate. Pass this video on, and let's raise domestic violence awareness to a high level. Let's do it. Have a great day. Bye bye.